What's going on, guys? FadeitLuie here, bringing guys a brand new video. We're going to be doing a mid-taper on one of my clients, so stay tuned. We started off by saturating the hair and combing everything in place and then separating the top from the sides. Now I'm going to separate the calic area from the bottom just so I don't cut any hairs that I don't want to cut. I also want to leave a certain amount of weight so it's easier to blend into the top. Now that we're done separating our calic area, we can move on to our anti outliners and create our first guideline. Now that we're done botting them out, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. You want to make sure you make this guideline about 1 inch thick so you can spread the blend. Using the lever all the way closed and midway will help us erase that initial guideline. Also, make sure you're using your opposite hand to hold down the skin or stretch the skin if needed. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to the 1 guard all the way open and create our third guideline. Remember, we're going to use the same guard and the lever to soften up the line and get it ready for the half guard. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe is greatly appreciated. Thank you. Now that we're done softening up the line with the 1 guard, we can move on to the half guard and erase the line completely. Moving on to the 2 guard all the way open, we're creating our 4th guideline and we're getting ready for the 1.5 guard. Remember to use your comb to feed the hair into the clipper. Now that we're done softening up the line with the 2 guard, we can move on to the 1.5 guard and erase the line completely. Sometimes once you're done using the 1.5 guard, there's still a faint line, so switching over to your 1 guard all the way open and using its corners will definitely help. Now I'm moving on to my 3 guard all the way open and we're going to flick out as much as possible, blending into the bulk. Moving on to our clipper over comb method, we're grabbing the hair with the comb and tilting it at a certain degree and then going vertically, blending the fade. As you can see, I'm picking up the hair with the comb and then I'm cutting either horizontally or vertically. Just a little tip, you do want to make sure the hair is slightly damp so it's easier to pick up with the comb. Now I'm starting to debulk the sides. We're picking up the hair with the comb and tilting it at around a 45-degree angle and then debulking with our horizontal cuts. Now that we're done debulking and creating our silhouette, we can switch over to our anti outliners and create our first guideline. You always want to make sure this guideline's at a curve so the taper could burst. Now we're switching over to our foil shavers and removing the stubble. Using our nose guard all the way open, we're creating our second guideline and we're following that same curved shape. Remember to use the lever to blend out that initial guideline. Here we're switching over to our tool guard all the way open and we're creating our fourth guideline, blending it into the bowl. Now that the guideline is soft enough, we can move on to our 1.5 guard and erase the line completely. Moving on to the neckline, we're starting off at the bottom and working our way to the top arch. Once you do near the top arch, the skin does get a little bit thinner, so make sure you don't press too hard and cut them. Moving on to the C-cups, we're using our anti outliners to make them as crispy as possible. I usually start off at the bottom and work our way to the top arch. You You gotta always remember to make sure you go slow enough that the hair feeds into the trimmer, because if not, you're not gonna line up the hair. Look how crispy that looks. Very nice and clean and natural. Now that we're done debulking his hairline with the one guard all the way open, we can start off at the middle and work our way to the sides, making him as crispy as possible. Again, you want to make sure you feed the hair into the trimmer and you go slow and steady. Also, don't be afraid to use your opposite hand to hold down the hair if needed. Since we're done with the lining, we're moving on to his mustache. You want to make sure you're very light and delicate here because you can bite them with the teeth of the trimmer. Again, I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe is greatly appreciated. Also, if you made it this far into the video, leave a comment down below. Moving on to our Turkish razor and Derby premium blades, we're gonna make them as crispy as possible. We're also gonna be doing his eyebrows. Before you use the razor, you always want to make sure you lather the skin with a little bit of shave gel. Also, make sure you stretch the skin as much as possible so you don't cut them. And when using the razor, you always want to keep the blade at a 45-degree angle. What's going on, guys? FadeitLuie here, bringing guys a brand new video. We're gonna be doing a mid-taper on one of my boys, so stay tuned. We're starting off with our NST outliners, creating our first guideline, contouring to his head shape. Now that we're done balding him out, we can move on to our no guard all the way open, creating our second guideline. You want to make sure you make this guideline about a full inch so you have enough room to spread your blend. Using the lever all the way closed and midway will help you erase that initial guideline. Also remember to always stretch the skin with your opposite hand to give you more room to blend. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to our one guard all the way open and create our third guideline. With this same guard, you're going to use the lever to soften up the line and get it ready for the half guard. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you. Now that we're done softening up the line with the one guard, we can move on to the half guard and erase the line completely. Since the length of his hair was already at a 2 guard all the way open, so we switched over to a 1.5 guard and erased the line completely. Sometimes there's still a faint line after using the 1.5 guard, so switching over to your 1 guard all the way open and using its corners will help. heading back to my previous guards and we're using the corners to detail as much as possible. Now that we're done detailing the back taper, we can move on to our Andy's T outliners and line up his neckline. I always start off at the bottom and work our way to the top arch. You want to be careful not to press too hard, because if you press too hard here, the teeth of the trimmer could bite him. Moving on to the side taper, we're going to start off by creating our first guideline using our Andy's T outliners. You want to make sure this guideline's at a curve so the taper could burst. Now that we're done balding them out and creating our first guideline, we can move on to the no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. Remember to use your corners since it is a small area. Also, remember to follow that same curve shape. Remember to use the lever midway and all the way close to help you erase that initial guideline. Moving on to the one guard all the way open, we're creating our third guideline following that same curve shape. Remember, we're going to use the same guard and the lever to soften up the line and get it ready for the half guard. Now we're using the two guard all the way open, creating our fourth guideline following that same curve shape. Now that we're done with the two guard all the way open, we can move on to the 1.5 guard and erase the line completely. Here I'm detailing with my no guard all the way open, tilting the clipper at a 75 to 90 degree angle. Here I'm using the 3 guard all the way open, solidifying that darkness. we're using our foil shaver to remove the stubble and make it as bald as possible. Remember to always use your opposite hand to stretch the skin or use the comb to feed the hair into the clipper. Moving on to our T outliners, we're starting off at the bottom and working our way to the top arch of the C cup. You always want to make sure you go slow and make sure the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer. As you can see, we're keeping his hairline as natural as possible. Also, make sure not to press too hard, and if your trimmers are overheating, go ahead and cool clear them up. Because if you do press too hard and they're hot, the skin could get bite and cut by the teeth of the trimmer. Again, I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe is greatly appreciated. Also, if you leave a comment down below, I'm guaranteed to reply to it, so don't be afraid. Moving on to our Turkish razor and Derby premium blades, we're going to make them as crispy as possible, and we're also going to be doing his eyebrows. Before you use the razor, you always want to make sure you lather the skin and you stretch the skin, and you also keep the blade at a 45-degree angle.